woke NASA savaged over failed moon launch again as China is poised to overtake the United States, and it's a joke. This is what a U.S. official, Douglas McKinnon, former Special Assistant for Policy Communications at the Pentagon, says concerning NASA. And we know, of course, whoever controls space controls Earth. Former U.S. government official humiliated NASA after the space agency failed its moon launch attempts twice. Last weekend, NASA was again forced to postpone its giant leap towards returning to the moon, scrubbing the second attempt at launching the Artemis 1 mission. This came less than a week after the previous attempt, which was aborted by NASA just 40 minutes before its scheduled launch time, following problems relating to the persistent hydrogen fuel leak. Following both failed launches, experts have slammed the U.S. space agency, particularly as China threatens to surge ahead with its space program. And we know that China aims to have a base on the south pole of the moon, where the U.S. also wants to have a base on the south pole of the moon. So I guess it's first come, first serve. Douglas McKinnon, former Special Assistant for Policy Communications at Pentagon, describes NASA as a simply poorly cobbled together poster child for a once great space program that is spiraling down into a late night joke status. Writing to The Hill, he warned that NASA's failure would have negative national and economic security consequences for the U.S., particularly amidst reports that China is looking to militarize space. Earlier this month, the Pentagon held highly classified meetings to discuss the growing threat it faces from Russia and China as they are reported developing and testing new types of space weapons. I remember what happened a couple of months ago, and I made a video on that, where China moved one of its satellites. From what I remember, it was a quarter of the distance of the circumference of the Earth in about 5 minutes. It moved the position of the satellite from the Earth, obviously by their space technology that they have, a quarter of the distance of the circumference of the Earth in about 5 minutes. That's ridiculous. I mean, that ridiculous meaning, can the United States do that? I don't even know. But I just want to reference that. Now, defense officials have warned that Beijing has tested a new combination of a hypersonic glide vehicle and a fractional orbital bombardment system, FOBS for short, FOBS. FOBS is a warhead delivery system that uses a low Earth orbit towards its target destination. And according to Defense News, this system is an unpredictable capability that can stay in orbit for as long as the user determines and then deorbit as part of its flight path. The chief of U.S. Strategic Command, Admiral Charles Richard, warned that China successfully tested that capability, which was never before seen in the world. Never before seen in the world. Mr. McKinnon, who was a writer in the White House for President Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush, slammed the, quote, floundering NASA, quote unquote, for being leaderless and lacking a true champion as U.S. President after John F. Kennedy failed to support space ambitions. He wrote, today, as NASA focuses on matters such as identity politics, the proper use of pronouns, and global warming, China is taking dead aim at the moon and the energy independence given helium-3 that litters the moon's surface. Helium-3 is a gas that could potentially be used as a fuel in future nuclear fusion power plants, offering an unlimited source of clean energy. He added that while many will not be aware of potential that the helium-3 has, Chinese officials most certainly do. He wrote, China, that's the first I'm hearing of it, he wrote, China is dependent on NASA, our defense contractors, the White House and Congress to go even more woke, waste more money and time, and continue to ignore the lessons of history. Aside from space weapons, Beijing is also forging ahead with its research mission, as space designers recently unveiled plans to build their proposed lunar bases in the volcanic caves of the moon, allowing for longer-term stays. obviously inside the volcanic caves in order to protect their humans, astronauts, from cosmic and solar radiation, and whatever else. The researchers believe that these underground hollow lava channels would offer astronauts a natural shield against space radiation and the extreme temperatures prevalent on the moon. So this would provide a boost to China's plans to allow astronauts to stay on the moon for longer periods by the year 2035, when they plan to have a base on the moon. So this is on Express UK by Anthony Ashkenaz. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.